The chair recognizes the Sergeant at Arms. Well, I think we're still getting ready back there. So I just have to say it. I think that General Robinson gets it. I think she gets and understands the Guard's role in her command and what we bring to the defense of our nation, as well as what we bring to the support of our fellow citizens. And for me, it was very humbling to get to meet that first female four-star combatant commander. That was awesome. I think they're back there. And so it appears she spoke so eloquently and so matter-of-factly that we weren't ready for her to be finished yet.
Gus is running to the back to get in position with her.
Okay.
About 30 seconds.
The Sergeant at Arms announces the presence in the chamber of the Honorable Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii, a member of the House Armed Services Committee. She is escorted by Major General Arthur J. Logan, the Adjutant General of Hawaii, and Major General retired Gus Hargett, the President of the National Guard Association of the United States.
With the Sergeant at Arms, please escort our distinguished guest and her party to the platform. Our next guest is another trailblazer. She was one of the first female combat veterans in Congress. But let me give you a little more context here. I think we've got some fans over there. But let me put that in a little more context. She deployed twice. Both times as a volunteer. But today she's a leading voice in the Democratic Party on defense issues. So without further ado, Hawaii Army National Guard Major Tulsi Gabbard. Thanks so much for joining us. Thank you.
Aloha. Come on, Hawaii, I can't hear you. Thank you very much. Thank you for allowing me to come here and join you today. I want to thank General Gus Hargett, Major General Singh, and the Maryland National Guard for hosting all of us here in Maryland for this wonderful convention. Let's give them a round of applause. I know this takes so much work. And let me just say I'm proud to be a lifetime member of NGAUS, helping my state of Hawaii reach their front row seats with 115% membership. There's perks that come with this, right? I'm proud to be a member of the Guard, and I'm proud to have served now for over 13 years in the Hawaii Army National Guard. This is my second term in Congress, and I serve on the House Armed Services and the Foreign Affairs Committees. And one of the questions that I get asked most often, mostly by civilians, but even some of our active duty friends, is how in the world do you serve as a member of Congress and simultaneously serve as a major in the National Guard? It's a difficult idea for many people to even think about, to conceive. But it's often because they just don't understand the simple concept of what it means to be a citizen soldier. That what I do is not actually very different from what each of you do in your own states. It's about time management, it's about balance, it's about setting priorities, and having a very supportive spouse and family that makes it all possible. Like so many of you, 28 days out of the month, I work in my civilian job serving the people of Hawaii's 2nd Congressional District. And a couple days a month, I change hats and have the privilege of wearing the uniform. During drill weekend, I'll go to officer's call and hear from our TAG, Major General Logan, salute my commander, receive my orders. And then during the week, I'll meet with Major General Logan and we'll talk about how we can work together to address the challenges and create more opportunities to strengthen our Army and Air National Guard. So like each of you, the experience that I have in both of these capacities complements the other. I really appreciate the fact that I'm able to go and listen to my peers, listen to fellow soldiers during drill weekend, draw upon my own experiences and deployments, keeping my boots always firmly planted on the ground, and take those experiences back with me when I come to Washington and my work on the House Armed Services Committee, making well-informed decisions at that 10,000-foot level. This is what I love about the National Guard, and why each of you serve as such an incredible asset to your home states and to this great country. You're among the few, the very few, who are professionals, whether you're police officers, firefighters, teachers, students, engineers, lawyers, the list goes on, all of whom are trained warriors, professionals who stand ready to serve both at home and abroad. I had the good fortune of growing up in Hawaii, where I learned from a young age some important lessons about how true success and happiness in life can only be found when you're trying your best to be of service to others, and how when you see a problem or a challenge that you don't point your finger to the left and right, expecting someone else to take action, but instead looking at the mirror and saying, what can I do? These are core values that have been my foundation and have served as my motivation throughout my life. I enlisted in the Hawaii Army National Guard after 9/11, and it's been one of the most meaningful and life-changing decisions I've ever made. Over the last 13 years of my service, much has changed, but through highs and lows and good and bad, I have remained proud to be a part of the National Guard family. I've met and had the privilege of serving alongside incredible patriots from across the country, and have come to know people who've become some of my closest friends. The amazing and incredible thing that is sometimes difficult for civilians to understand are the bonds that we forge together and how those bonds transcend everything else. They transcend generations, transcend race, ethnicity, education, religion, socioeconomic class, and yes, even partisan politics. When it comes right down to it, we are united. One team serving this great country, fighting for our buddy to our left and right. Our lives are forever marked by the people that we serve with. People like my colleague, Congressman Mark Takai, who stood beside me as I was sworn in as an enlisted soldier, who I served with in the Guard and most recently served with in Congress. Mark stood here before you last year because he loved the National Guard. He loved Hawaii, and he loved our country. General Hargett, Major General Logan, and others were there with us in Hawaii last month as we said our final aloha to our dear friend who lost his battle with pancreatic cancer. The reality is that not many people in our country share this bond that we have these days, this experience of having worn the uniform. 40 years ago, around 3/4 of Congress was made up of members who had served our nation in uniform in one capacity or another, and today that number lies just below 20%. That was one of the main reasons that I ran for Congress, was because as a young soldier, as an E4 deployed to Iraq, serving in a medical unit back in 2005, I saw firsthand every day the cost of war, the impact and consequences of what happens when you have national leaders who don't understand what it means to wear the uniform, who don't understand the experience that your families go through, who don't understand the cost of war, as they make decisions about where and when our brothers and sisters are sent into harm's way. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity that I have, that Hawaii has given me, and take the responsibility of serving as your voice in our nation's capital every day very seriously. To speak up and make sure that the National Guard voice and experience is heard in Congress. To speak up when congressional military panels are made up solely of retired officers with no enlisted representation. To stand up and speak out and fight against those proposed cuts to service member pay or benefits, because I understand how much these things matter. I know firsthand how much they impact your lives, the lives of your families. In the post-9/11 world that we live in today, we're dealing with a very dynamic and diverse set of threats, more diverse than ever before. Our military's been stretched thin for far too long, and we face pivotal decisions about how best we can ensure our military is trained, equipped, and ready to deal with this diverse set of threats and the world that we hope to shape in the future. Our citizen soldiers and Guard were formed before our nation had any formal fighting force. Our roots run deep, and our history is strong. Since 9/11, our citizen soldiers have faced unprecedented challenges as Guard units across the country have been deployed many, many times. And each time, our Guardsmen and women have risen to the occasion, meeting the needs of the nation, leaving your families and jobs behind, while also ensuring that a force remained to take care of our core mission of responding to the needs of our states. So the strain of war has come at a cost to Guardsmen and their families, but it has integrally also changed the very nature of what our force is and what we do. We're participating more and more in large-scale exercises as we train and remain ready for rapid deployments. Within the next year, the Associated Units pilot program is being rolled out, with the role of our Army Guard units expanding more as we train and integrate with our active duty counterparts, all while ensuring that the primary function and core mission of the National Guard remains at the forefront of what we do. It was pointed out to me shortly after I was elected to Congress, it was posed to me as a problem that every member of Congress has a National Guard armory in his or her district. The fact that there are people in Washington who have this mindset is disturbing, because this is what I see as a strength, that we have a National Guard armory in every member of Congress's district, that this is something that transcends the partisan political bickering and gridlock in Washington, knowing that we put your well-being at the forefront. We understand that the National Guard is and has always been our frontline force in emergency response. We are the one military branch that is trained and ready to respond to events like Hurricane Sandy, the ferocious forest fires on the West Coast last year, or in my home state of Hawaii, responding to Hurricane Iselle and an active volcano with lava flow threatening the very existence of some of our communities. These missions are as unpredictable as they are dangerous, and we must maintain and support our ability to respond to them. During these changing times, another change occurring across our military as we speak is the integration of females into our leadership and combat arms units. Over 280,000 women have deployed and served in Iraq and Afghanistan since 9/11. Many of these women have not only served effectively in combat and some in close quarters combat, they have earned some of our nation's highest prestigious awards for their leadership, skill, and courage. That deserves a round of applause. This change has increased opportunities for women who want to join these units and who meet the required standard to serve our nation in any job or any capacity. This idea of gender integration is not just about combat arms. It's a culture shift that is occurring as we speak, ensuring that we empower the most talented among us, regardless of their gender, to both serve in our line units as well as at the highest levels. We've made tremendous progress in the last year to ensure that the most qualified Americans are best equipped to defend our country. And as we go through these changes, with the skill sets that we have, our National Guard units will continue to be stronger, more nimble, and stand ready to take on the diverse mission set that they are given. The bottom line is, with the growing threat, the high operational tempo, and a changing Guard, we can never forget who we are. We are citizen soldiers. We are proud to stand alongside our active component brothers and sisters, but we are not them. This is not a weakness, this is our strength. Because each and every one of us brings something unique to our total force that cannot be replicated, all centered around one mission: service to our country. This is what makes us strong. The vast majority of the soldiers and airmen standing in our formations are M-Day warriors, people who sacrifice so that they can serve their communities, their state, and their country while simultaneously working or studying or living their civilian lives. The experiences, the assets, and the value that these individuals bring to our missions, bring to our formations, and the work that we do cannot be understated, because without them, we have no National Guard. This institution of the Guard, centers around empowering, equipping, and training and supporting these great warriors with all they need so that they can provide that service and get the job done. So stand strong, be proud, never forget where we come from, upon whose shoulders we stand, and most importantly, who we serve. Thank you very much. Aloha.
What a delight. Representative Gabbard, thanks for spending some time with us, part of your family. We know you've got a busy schedule. I want to give you this little memento of your visit so you won't forget. It's called What So Proudly We Hailed. It's the first biography of Francis Scott Key in 75 years, and as you're very aware, he penned the words to what would become our national anthem right here in Baltimore over 200 years ago. Thank you so much for joining us, and thanks for continuing to do what you do for our nation and for our Guard. Will the Sergeant at Arms please escort our distinguished guest and her party from the platform?